You're listening to The Financial Outfitter, helping turn dreams into cherished memories. Sponsored by BPG Planning, purpose-based personal financial planning because it's about more than your money.
You are listening to the second season of the Financial Outfitter podcast. And today we have an in-studio guest, Erika, a repeat guest. Would that be your sophomore appearance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so.
And joining us today virtually, Ralph Scherder. Ralph and I have been friends for many years, actually started out, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe my taxidermist. Here in Butler, Pennsylvania. You've gone on to do a whole lot of other things, including become a professional fly fishing guide. And I think maybe a good way to start out is, Ralph, share with us like what you're up to today, because I know you're like an author, content creator, guide, etc. And enlighten us on your background and how you actually came into fly fishing.
Sure. Well, it's been a strange journey, for one thing. I think from the time I was old enough to hold a pen, I knew I wanted to be a writer. So that was always my focus, is writing, and I just loved the outdoors. So the natural progression was to become an outdoor writer. Grew up, my dad was a taxidermist, so obviously I just kind of grew up into that business, and then left it to pursue the outdoor writing and the outdoor career full time on my own. And originally started out, over the years, I sold my first, articles to national magazines. I was still in high school, and eventually, built up as writing for just about every magazine you could find, and 100 to 120 articles a year. And once I went like full time, it just amped it up even more. And out of all this, I ended up with this huge backlog of material. So I decided to start a website. It was called First Fork Publications. It's still around, but the primary focus was hunting. And at the same time, I started a fly fishing only website because I had so much fly fishing content. And as the two were kind of growing, the fly fishing one just took off even more. And I don't know if it's just because, that's where my true passion was, or what, but it just started gaining a lot more traction. And, pretty soon I started doing less and less with the hunting website, but I still do once in a while. But so out of all that, just, blossomed Dark Skies Fly Fishing. We moved to north central Pennsylvania about 3 years ago from Butler. And this is colloquially known as the Dark Skies region of the state. This
That's
is
right.
where,
Yep.
people come from all around to Cherry Springs State Park to view the night sky in its purest form, because there's very little light pollution. I think our total population in Potter County is only about 15 or 16,000 people. It's like the small inner city of Butler spread out over a
Yeah.
much larger landmass. So, the Dark Skies to me is being able to see things in their purest form, but also, dark days are usually the best for fishing, right? So you kind of end up with a Dark Skies Fly Fishing. And
Gotcha.
you know out of that, started a digital magazine back in the spring. And just I don't know if anybody remembers the Mid Atlantic Fly Fishing Guide, but they went out of business about 10 years ago or so, and they covered this region. And always appealed to me, because it was one of my favorite magazines to read, was that it was all waters and people that I was familiar with. And I was a big fan of the magazine, and heartbroken when they went out of business. So one day about a year ago, I just thought, I need to do this, and decided to start a regional publication, and it is available for free to read and download off our website, darkskiesflyfishing.com. And since then, it's just been amazing to see how it has grown, and how well received from people. I think there was a need out there. A lot of, because if you look at the demographics of fly fishers in the United States, this region has the highest concentration. So, and
Really?
it's just so to have a publication serving this region is very important to me. And we've been very fortunate to have a lot of well-known people in the industry step on and help me out with content. And ironically, the old editor of Mid Atlantic Fly Fishing Guide is now one of my writers. So it's
How about
incredible
that?
how things have come full circle. And then, you know, for so many years, I got requests, people wanting to go fishing, and I would always take them, but they would offer me money, and I thought, no, I can't take the money. I'm not a guide. And then pretty soon, it was like, well, I may as well get my guide license so I can do
Right.
this professionally, and just offer a better service, and also to
Hmm.
conduct the group trips and to host the trips to various parts. So, and it's been a great journey. I never thought that it would lead to where we are right now, but I'm sure glad it did.
Well, I have a little piece in my newsletter that I call Passion to Paychecks. And you're the stereotypical uh, profile, right? It was a focus on the passion, not the money.
Mhm.
But through pursuing that passion, you were able to create, not just income, but a career path.
Yeah, that has it's astonishing to me. If I looked at my life 20 years ago or 10 years ago, sometimes even 5 years ago, to see what has evolved out of my love for the outdoors and the people that I've met along the way and the organizations I've been fortunate enough to be involved with. Um,
Hmm.
it blows my mind.
Yeah, that to me is a success story.
I feel like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
actually, and I'm really hoping that combining the two today, we get a little bit of overlap and we create some interest in both programs. So, um, Erica, how have things been going for you with your new position?
Great, really exciting. I'm glad to be in this new role at Casting for Recovery. As you mentioned, I took on the role of National Program Director here back in June. And it's just been a really exciting opportunity to get even more involved with the programs that are out there across the country.
And just maybe for people that didn't see the first episode that you were on, maybe give a little bit of a background of what Casting for Recovery is.
Sure. So we're a national nonprofit 501c3 organization, and our focus is hosting healing outdoor retreats for women with breast cancer. Their retreats are 2.5 days. We provide opportunity for women to learn the sport of fly fishing. We do a very introductory level course for women to learn the sport. But then our retreats are also providing women with the opportunity to connect with other women who are going through breast cancer. We have wellness staff who come to the retreat who are both medical oncology and mental health professionals who provide breast cancer information and support to the women that come. And really, it's just a nice opportunity to give these women that are going through such a stressful time, an opportunity to reconnect with nature and just, get out of the daily stress of having a diagnosis and going to doctor's appointments and all the things back home and just giving them a little joy for 2.5 days.
And I think you had just mentioned a few minutes ago that it's open enrollment now.
Yeah, so many of our retreats across the country have now posted their 2025 retreat dates. So if you visit our website, which is castingforrecovery.org, there's a tab where you can find a retreat near you and just find the state that you're in, and you can see the dates and the locations for next year's retreats. Right now, we have 54 retreats scheduled for next year across the country. And usually there's like a 10 weeks prior to the actual retreat weekend is the cutoff date to apply. So, you can apply right there on the website. Our Western PA program, their retreat is going to be held out at Home Waters Club out in Spruce Creek this coming year.
That's a pretty nice location to have.
Yeah, really excited about that. We had been there in the past, and now we're back there. So we're really excited for that. But that retreat will be held August 22nd through the 24th of next year. So the cutoff date for applying for that retreat is June 12th. So if you know of any women in the Western PA area that might like to apply, please encourage them to
And
apply. It'll be great.
So the application's all online?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. Good. That's a great location.
Yeah.
Ralph, have you ever fished out there?
No, I haven't. Not the home waters. I fished spruce with you in,
That's right.
upstream there, and that was a
Yeah.
heck of a good couple days there. But
That was a good couple
yeah,
days of fishing.
yeah, that was one of the highlights
Yeah.
of my year there. So
We need to get back out there.
absolutely.
You've got an annual fundraiser coming up, right?
Yes.
And if my memory serves me, it's March 2nd
Yeah.
of 2025, annual film festival. And again, if my memory serves me, did you say it was the 19th year?
Yes. This is the 19th year that the Fly Fishing Film Tour has been put out, and we're excited to host it again.
So, Ralph, have you ever seen the film festival?
No, I haven't. I would love to come to that event
So
though.
I didn't know what to expect the first time that I went, and it's essentially, for folks that have never seen it, like a compilation of short films, and sponsored by a lot of folks in the industry like Orvis and Sims and many others. And not only is it about fly fishing in different species, but usually there's an underlying theme to each of the movies, and it's really, really well done. How long, Eric, have you been involved with that particular event?
So myself, I came to Casting for Recovery Western PA as a volunteer back in 2013, and so the very next year, I started attending the film, which our friend Bob Phillips from International Angler always brings the film out to the Oaks Theater in
Mhm.
Oakmont. So I started attending the film there to represent the organization, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's always right before trout season starts, so it gets everybody all fired up to
Right.
get out there and fish.
It's one, the the product, the movies are really, really well done, and it's a fantastic venue. It's a kind of it's a refurbished old theater, community theater, um, bar in the back. So it's very conducive for socializing, and it's gotten more and more attention since COVID, because there was a little, obviously there was a drop off during COVID. But uh, again, March 2nd at 2 p.m. And I'm not sure if that's when the doors open, but you can find more information on what was the website?
It's the flyfishingfilmtour.com.
Okay, well, that's
Mhm.
pretty simple. And there'll be more information posted on the website for International Angler, which is, a pro shop right here in Butler that's been pretty much, or a Butler in Pittsburgh, that's been a pillar of the fly fishing community actually for decades. And then some other things you can expect, buying tables in advance, open bar, and then there's usually some raffles as well. The financial outfitter would like to put out that anyone that goes to the financial outfitter and subscribes to the podcast, or I should say the first four people that make that subscription, will get tickets to the show. So it's a great event, great afternoon, and a pretty cool way to kind of kick off the early trout season. So a lot of the women that come into the program, I think much like yourself, have no experience trout fishing.
Fly fishing, period.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we actually we ask women when they apply to our retreats on their application if they've ever fly fished before. And this past year, we looked at our end of the year data, and 85% of the women that came to a Casting for Recovery retreat across the country told us that they had never fly fished. So we're really introducing women, to a whole new sport, and we hope that after their retreat, they'll continue with it.
That's pretty amazing that I'll be honest. Getting into trout fishing, or fly fishing specifically, was a little intimidating for me. I'd never done it before, and I enjoyed it a couple of times that I went, but often I didn't go alone. So identifying resources that you could do if you go to a retreat, and you want to follow up and continue to do that, sometimes you're wondering like what the next step would be, and that's really where we're hoping Ralph could lend some expertise here. um, Having been on the water for probably countless hours and years, you've probably had the chance to take some new folks out. Yes, Ralph?
Oh yeah, that's actually one of the things I really like about the guiding. That it seems like at the end of the day, when you come back home after a day on the water with somebody, I always just feel really good, because anytime I book somebody for a day on the water, I always ask them, what are you hoping to achieve out of this? Are you looking to just go and let's just catch fish? Let's learn some new water, or is there a specific technique you want to learn more about and build on? And so everything is just kind of tailored to what they want. And I think that's one of the biggest rewards that I get as a guide is that everybody walks away feeling like they accomplished what they set out to do,
Mm-hmm.
one way or another. So, but yeah, it's definitely what I enjoy most about guiding.
One of the interesting things that has happened in my short little period of fly fishing is once I got to the point where I felt, yeah, I can go out on the water and catch fish, and I started taking people, I realized that most of the time that's what I was doing, was taking people and wasn't going out on my own. So that's like one of my primary motivations to go out with a guide. Was it allows me to be focused more on fishing than maybe focus on tying someone's knots or something like that. And it steepens your learning curve.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what you do in life, if you have a coach, you learn faster, and you learn things, I think, that well, you get exposed to things that you wouldn't otherwise do. Um, and this thought actually just crossed my mind. I wonder if there's an opportunity to go back to some of those women that went through the program, and say, hey, look, if you are interested, you could provide them with some resources that they could follow up on, because I do believe, and I'm sure there's some science behind this, that there is, well, I mean, we say that at the financial outfitter, we say that the sporting lifestyle and the pursuit of it holds the remedy to what ails the human spirit in a modern world. And fly fishing, I think, is a great example of that. I think that maybe both of you would agree that just that time on the water is very therapeutic, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there are a lot of different ways to meet those people. You know, I always amaze myself like how much I learn from even the new people that I guide, because you are getting that fresh approach. And I don't think you have to be new or you have to be experienced or whatever to gain from hiring a guide. Like one of the things they do is an online magazine called Dark Skies Fly Fishing Magazine, and
Mm-hmm.
recently we interviewed George Daniel, who is this world renowned professional fly fisherman. He took over Joe Humphrey's position at PSU, teaching the fly fishing course there. He's won national championships, placed in world championships. And one of the things that he told me is he still hires guides, you know, and
Hmm.
if whether it's he wants to learn somewhere new or help develop a new technique. And I think you're absolutely right that we all crave that a relationship, and that heals the human spirit, right? So the irony is we live in this social world, social media world, where everybody's connected, but yet nobody's connected. And so
Right.
that personal time on the water, whether it's with one guide or on a group trip, We started hosting a lot of group trips and stuff too through my business, and just how that brings people together, and the camaraderie, and the energy you get from it, and the excitement. Just it launches a lot of people to just go on and develop those skills more, and that passion more for the outdoors. There's nothing better.
And you know what? That probably overlays with what you've found, right, Erica? Is it's not obviously the fishing is just maybe an excuse,
Mhm.
to get out there and get together. Do you see folks maintaining their relationship after the retreats?
Definitely. And, we do tell the women as they're leaving the retreat, we do provide resources as far as, breast cancer education and support, but then also opportunities to fly fish again. Um, Part of our staff that comes to the retreats, we have female anglers who come and spend the weekend and are teaching the women the basics of fly fishing. And many of them are going out fishing regularly together. And so they'll put the word out to the group, hey, we're going to go fish Yellow Creek or wherever,
Mm-hmm.
do like a fishing meetup. And so we do definitely encourage women to stay connected to the sport if they're interested. We connect them with folks like Bob and Orvis Pittsburgh and other outfitters so that, if they're looking to get gear,
Okay.
they have
Yeah.
somewhere that they can turn
Mm-hmm.
to. Um, and even giving them tips on like, you don't have to buy all the latest and greatest and all the bells and whistles to go fish. We teach them there's very easy, simple, basic ways to get involved with the sport and, get your toe into the water,
Mm-hmm.
see if you really love it. So, yeah. But I feel like, too, like you were saying, there's research that does support that the healing of power of being out in nature and just, being in natural environments and kind of just slowing down from all of the technology and the screens and all the stress of daily life and just getting out there and there's physical benefits, emotional benefits, mental health benefits to all of that. And so I feel like our retreats and definitely what you're doing as well, getting folks out there and fishing is just really helping benefit people in a positive way.
Yeah. In order to be, I think, regularly successful fly fishing, you're paying attention to all of these small nuances, everything from the right fly to the current to your indicator or your line. And it's that discipline for an extended period of time that I think the mind actually likes. And, in a distracted world, sometimes, well, I think a lot of times people struggle to maintain that level of attention. Uh, so what do you think, Ralph, is like maybe one of the most challenging aspects for someone new entering in that wants to give fly fishing a try? What do you think one of their biggest challenges
Um,
is?
from a technical standpoint, it's the casting, and that's where um, something like a $50 lesson from at your local fly shop, or just go into your local fly shop, and a lot of them will let you practice with a rod. People want to spend all the money on gear, and that's not necessarily going to make you a better fly fisher. So you can have $1,000 rod. I think a lot of people are surprised when I show up on guided trips with like my Orvis Clearwater, my Reddington, crosswater. It's like $120 combo, and that included like rod, reel, line, everything.
Yeah.
That was just bought at Dick's Sporting Goods. But like it's not about the gear. It's about starting off technically, and investing that. I mean, truly, when you look at the cost barrier of it, it's less than a tank of gas in your car to get a decent lesson, and that will serve you well, far beyond the gear that you're using, because that'll make your experience on the water that much more pleasurable. It'll help you
Mm-hmm.
eliminate the tangles and the lost flies and the frustration casting and all that. So it's a simple investment that you can make in your hobby, or in your, whatever you want there just it's going to serve you well long beyond.
You know, I've fished with a lot of guides. I don't think it minimized any of my tangles. I mean, I'm a master at tangling things, and I think that at some point you just kind of embrace the fact that when you're casting, you're going to get tangled, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was actually with another guide, and I floated the Allegheny River, and he got tangled so bad. It was like 20 minutes. And I finally looked back and said, "What are you doing?" And
Yeah,
he's like,
just cut
"I
it
got my
off.
line all tangled up." It's like, you're supposed to be a professional.
Yep.
But yeah,
It happens to everyone,
it
right?
does.
So, Erica, you get to go on the retreat. Yes? No?
Not so often. I mean, here
Really?
locally, the Western PA one, yes, I'm usually at that one every year. I did go to the Ohio retreat this year. I pretty much go if there's like a new team that needs some
Mm-hmm.
mentoring and, kind of show them the ropes to hosting a retreat for the first time. If a retreat leader has to drop out at the last minute for some reason, I can, fill in, but I don't get to travel as much as folks think I might do.
Jeez. I mean, the national program manager, you think maybe you'd get to, fish a couple of nice pieces of water.
Right, right. No, there's just so much that goes on behind the scenes
Yeah.
throughout the year to keep this program going across the country. Everything from training new staff, interviewing new volunteers for various positions, fundraising, outreach, just a variety of things that help this thing continue.
So, what would you say, if there is one, maybe your greatest challenge?
Yeah, so we are actually turning away 3 women for every woman that we serve at a retreat. The need is there, and so our retreat sizes, we keep them small. We take 14 women for every retreat,
Mm-hmm.
and it's based on a random lottery selection for each retreat. And so already we're limited to the number of women that we can serve at any given time. There are some states out there that programs are able to host more than one retreat a year. It's pretty much based on their volunteer bench that they have available
Mm-hmm.
and the bandwidth of that team, and plus also, the reserves to cover the cost for that. Because
Mm-hmm.
part of our retreats is they're free for women to attend. We cover the lodging, the meals, the fishing equipment. So they just have to get to the retreat and we take care of the rest. And so, teams are fundraising throughout the year to raise the cost to cover their retreats. Um, those are kind of some of the barriers that we have. If we had more volunteers and more venues to be able to host more retreats, and of course that takes money to do that too. So
Right. So,
there's a variety of things that have to come together in order to be able to serve more women.
so the challenge is that there are more women interested in the program than the program can currently serve, and then the challenge to expanding the program is the money
And the
and
volunteers too.
volunteers
Yeah.
and money. So the venue probably has some influence on the cost.
Mhm.
So what do you think for Pennsylvania the cost is for, you said 14 women?
Yeah, I'd say between meals, lodging, and all other expenses involved, we're looking at probably about 15,000.
Okay. So to have a second, you need another 15,000. You just double it,
Hmm.
right? Because there's no economies of scale really, and then there's also the issue of a venue,
Hmm.
because you might not have the same venue volunteering their space
Right.
for two different things. And all of the money for the film festival would go towards this particular retreat here in Pennsylvania, since the
Hmm.
film festival's here.
Right.
Are there any other ways to do fundraising? Are you doing any other things for fundraising right now?
Yeah, so we have been doing prior to COVID an annual fundraiser we called Fish Tales and Ales.
Mhm.
We had most recently when we hosted it, the past 2 times that we did, we hosted it out at the Alpine Club out in Bridgeville.
Yeah.
Really fun evening, usually on a Saturday. We'd have heavy hors d'oeuvres, drinks, usually some musical entertainment, lots of raffle baskets and silent auction items. Um, Really well attended, really a great fundraiser. We haven't gotten back online with that event since, COVID kind of eased up and we got back out there. So definitely we'd like to organize another one of those events because we really had a nice attendance at that retreat or that fundraiser prior to COVID. Um, we had another really amazing group out at the Collier Sportsman's Club in like Carnegie area,
Mm-hmm.
Rennerdale. There was a group of clay shooters out there that organized a clay shoot fundraiser in benefit of Casting for Recovery. They called it Shoot for a Cause. It was a third party event, and they were amazing. They would have tons of baskets. They'd have a shoot contest that morning, have a
Mm-hmm.
breakfast, have a lunch afterwards. Really great event. They had done that probably about 5 years in a row,
Mm-hmm.
and they raised great money for us, and it was a lot of work for the group for sure.
Yeah,
And
right.
so they kind of said we're going to
Okay.
take a break for now.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So for this calendar year, it's just the film festival.
for now,
Okay.
yeah, our goal is to get another fly fishing film, or I'm sorry, Fish Tails and Nails, back
Okay.
on the schedule for next year. So once we get that organized, I'll make sure you have the dates.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Kind of switching gears back to you, Ralph. The resources, right? So Erica said that they will pair sometimes, or at least offer the women that are in the program names of outfitters and things like that. But as you mentioned, obviously you have an online presence that I know is a wealth of information. What kind of like information are you sharing in Dark Skies?
Yeah, on our website we have now a couple hundred articles that are all designed for how to stuff, stream reports. We have the whole gamut of how to articles for how to learn how to fly fish and tie flies. So we also have a YouTube channel that has a lot of videos on fly tying and fly fishing. So websites and YouTube videos are great. We live in that information age when it's just all so readily available to us. But I think it's important to know too that that kind of stuff will only take you so far as a in your learning process. I call it curated knowledge because it's not really that hard earned knowledge you gain from going out there and taking your own hard knocks sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
so I mean I'd also recommend like visit your local fly shops. They're always willing to help you. And a big one that I think is maybe missed by a lot of people is trout organizations like Trout Unlimited. They're not just a national organization. They're made up of like all these small chapters all around the country. And get involved on the local level and go to a meeting, and I guarantee you'll get a half dozen invites from the members there that'll
Yeah.
take you fishing, and you'll develop relationships. And so it's more than just finding your stuff online. It's actually going out and seeking it and getting involved, in one way or another in the fly fishing community, not just online but in person.
Yeah, and it's definitely a receptive community. I mean, you've been a huge help to me over the years, and really, I mean, international angler and Bob's a perfect example of just kind of stepping in and you know doing the heavy lifting in terms of the event and getting the word out there and of the film festival. And it's a very welcoming place that you can go and simply say, I want to learn about this.
Mhm.
Um, Ralph, what's kind of like your geographic reach? Do you have any idea?
For the website, it is all over the country. I've
Well,
even
yeah,
shipped
right.
orders all over the world, but you know, we get traffic from all 50 states and a couple dozen countries. But so yeah, that's the website, but the magazine that we started has kind of a regional focus,
Mhm.
just covering the Great Lakes states or the Mid Atlantic region, I should say.
Mhm.
Um, but you know, we still have readers from all over the country. I think when you provide content that is based on just helping people not only become better but enjoying the sport more, that's going to appeal to readers everywhere.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm just thinking that your reach and your geographic focus really kind of is an overlay of the people that we'd want to attract to the film festival.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
uh, there's a good match there. Go ahead.
And I was going to say, I'd certainly love to share your information at our retreats. As women are expressing interest in continuing with the sport, I could certainly, make sure they're aware of you and what you have to offer. Because we do pull women from across Western PA all the way up from Erie and your, central part of the state. We do have a Eastern Pennsylvania program that women from the eastern part of PA apply to, and they go to Skytop Lodge in the Poconos.
Mhm.
So we can certainly make sure that they're
Yeah.
familiar with who you are.
Well, likewise, you know, I really enjoy working with organizations. That's why I mentioned Trout Unlimited. They've been really good to me. But you know, I've even, you know, volunteered with the local chapter here with Project Healing Waters events. And if there's any way that I can help with casting for recovery, you know, I'm all about it. I would be more than happy to.
Awesome.
Yeah, and at the heart of uh, the the financial outfitter, the goal is really to encourage people to get out, whether it's fishing or hunting. It's the sporting lifestyle that we want people to engage in, and if you're already engaged in it, we want people to engage more deeply, and that might be um, getting involved with an organization or taking your interest in a given pursuit like to the next level. And that's actually one of the things that Ralph and I have had a couple of conversations about, and we've taken some steps there. And I think that for folks in this area that are interested in fly fishing in other areas, uh, one, international angler has that opportunity too. But Ralph, you've engaged in with an outfitter out of Argentina and have had some unique experiences with them, and I think it'd be kind of cool if you shared that.
Oh, sure. That just came as a result of, I guess, just doing what I love to do, you know, and didn't realize that as we grew our new newsletter, there was a subscriber on the newsletter who was friends with these folks in Argentina at Set Fly Fishing, and he emailed me and said, "Hey, I enjoy what your newsletters and your website. Would you ever be interested in going to Patagonia?" Well, that took all about 3 seconds to say yes, and next thing you know, like literally within 6 weeks, I was flying to Argentina, and you know, people who were just complete strangers became friends, and I talked to them regularly. You know, just the whole experience of getting outside my comfort zone and being willing to meet new people and travel, and you know, help that they have some of the finest fly fishing in the world, but also some of the best food and wine was, you know, a major bonus too. And
Mm-hmm.
so I liked it so much that taking a group of 12 anglers next spring, and that trip is already filled up, and we're already booking for 2026. But you know, something that I've learned from doing the group trips locally here too is just how much fun they are. So we're also doing Montana in 2025 in June. But so yeah, it's amazing once you start to really explore fly fishing and your passion for it and the industry itself, you know, where it can take you is just, it blows my mind sometimes. I never dreamed that I would be doing a lot of the stuff that I'm doing right now.
Well, and I think that there's probably a lot of people, and it doesn't matter whether it's hunting or fishing, that they think, well, I fish here in Western Pennsylvania and I'd like to go someplace else, but again, they might not know exactly how to take that next step. Um, and what I've found is that if you really want an amazing experience in international travel, Argentina and Patagonia is a wonderful destination specifically for the things that you've already mentioned, Ralph, and that is it is world class fishing. It's like the American West probably 75 years
Yeah.
ago. You can do a float trip and not feel like you're in a regatta. And you can spend an entire day fishing and not see anyone. The hospitality is world class, and the food's amazing. And you know, you might think, oh, it's far away. It's in this and as an exotic destination, but a lot of these outfitters now uh, really have programs that are they're dialed in. I mean, they even go to the extent of meeting you at the airport and taking you to the lodge, and you're staying at a nice place. And when I made my first trip down there, I don't even know if I would consider myself a novice at fly fishing. I mean, I was a beginner, and the nice thing is that there's like so many fish per mile, it puts the odds in your favor. You can, you don't have to really be all that good. You can still catch some fish.
This is true. This is true. And I think it's
Yeah.
also, when you're with a good outfitter like I was with Set Fly Fishing, their guides were just, top notch. Like they taught me, you know, specific tactics for fishing there. And it was, that took it to a whole new level.
And you know, this resurfaces again, and is you're usually with a group, and you know, each night you're often together, you know, for dinner, and you meet people from all over, different walks of life, different backgrounds, and you create these relationships that you wouldn't otherwise have. And you know, you go back to your day-to-day life, and yet you can reconnect with this person that might be a half a world away, and you have that shared experience together, and it's like you just rekindled that relationship over again. And I think there's a lot of value to that, whether you're doing it, you know, in Patagonia or just outside of Pittsburgh, right? that that connection is it's the shared relation, it's the shared experience, I think, that makes it so unique.
Absolutely. I think that's why on a lot of the group trips I've done so far, I've seen such a huge return of the same people year after year. Um, it's because they love that camaraderie, and you get, they become your group that you fish with once a year. And
Yeah.
when they really get along well, it's a pleasure. It makes you feel even better that you were able to bring people together to enjoy the outdoors as much as you do. You know,
You know, that made me think of a question, Erica, and that is, if someone has gone on the retreat, does that mean they're not eligible to go again?
Right, because we are turning away women so
Yeah.
often, it is a one-time experience, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We do, like I said, our fly fishing staff will organize some meetups, to continue
Mm-hmm.
the connection with the women. Oftentimes, the women before they leave will share with one another their contact information, maybe get a Facebook group, private Facebook group
Mm-hmm.
going so they can stay connected that way. But we definitely do try to organize some alumni type
Mm-hmm.
gatherings to help keep those
Keep that
connections
going.
going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're nearing last light here at the Den. So that's usually the time where we give whoever's in studio here an opportunity to share their final thoughts or anything that they would like to direct our attention to, anything you want to promote. So, Ralph, any parting thoughts? Anything you'd like to share?
well, first of all, it's great to be on with you, Brian. I really appreciate the opportunity, and also to meet you, Erica. I think just hop on over to our website, darkskiesflyfishing.com. We have several hosted and group trips coming up for steelhead, trout, Patagonia fly fishing. But even more than that, get involved. Join an organization, whether it's Trout Unlimited or someone else, and just go to meetings and find out how you can help and give back to your community. And I think from that, the personal gratification that I have received in return has outweighed everything else. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate this opportunity, Brian.
Oh, you're more than welcome, and I'm happy you're here. Appreciate those comments too, because it means a lot, and that's really what we want to be about. So thanks. Erika, anything?
Yeah, same thing. Thank you for this opportunity to connect and meet you, Ralph, as well. Um, Definitely join us if you can on March 2nd of next year out at the Oaks Theater for the Fly Fishing Film Tour. Your attendance will help support bringing more women to our retreat here in Western PA. Same thing, too. If you know any women with breast cancer here in the area that might be interested in applying to our retreat next year, that's August 22nd through the 24th, and the application deadline is June 12th. You can visit our website, which is castingforrecovery.org, and apply right there. And if you'd like to donate, you can also donate there as well.
Excellent. All right. Well, thanks everyone for spending some of your precious time with us today. And, well, hope to see you out on the water. And remember, like us, subscribe. And when you do, remember you become a member of the pack, not the herd.
Our mission is to promote new connections in the sporting community by bringing awareness to opportunities and issues that impact our lifestyle, challenge members to think critically about their role in the modern world, and help others to turn dreams into cherished memories. This episode is sponsored by BPG Planning, purpose-based personal financial planning because it's about more than your money.